Hello everyone, Kate here from Keight Krafts, starting the new year with Hollow Tree Hobbies and a little gratitude. Let's get started. So I thought I would kick off 2025 with two thank you cards. So to start off our thank you cards, we have a panel, well we'll be working with two panels. We have a panel of some Neenah Solar White, and I've gone in with some Tumbled Glass, and now I'm using a little bit of Seedless Preserve. You'll have to excuse me. I've cut out quite a bit of the ink blending because my oxide inks are a little dry, and it would be a good time to look into investing in some re-inkers. And if you are in the market for re-inkers, I know for a fact that Hollow Tree Hobbies does have some re-inkers for oxides, for distress inks, and definitely for some lawn fawn inks as well. So if your pads are running a little dry, it might be worth going to check that out. So once we are happy with the blend here, and I've gone back and forth between the three colors, as you can see, we are going to start on our second panel because we will be making a twofer today. So a double feature, if you will. So again, I'm going back in with that Distress Oxide. It's a little embarrassing how much I actually have to work to get that color on my paper. Again, I really need to invest in some re-inkers. It's a little pathetic. So once I have gone over that as best as I could, I'm going to go back in with that Tumbled Glass, and I've flipped my paper around, and we're going to do the little bottom panel. I just thought I would try doing it this way, and then I'll go in with that Seedless Preserve. So the Tumbled Glass isn't as bad, but it's also a lighter color, so it's hard to tell, for me anyway. And my Seedless Preserve is okay, but it's not as great, and I would prefer these a little more juicy to be able to do a little bit better ink blending in. But the good thing about Distress Oxide inks is that you can build. You can build up your layers and make them as light or as dark as you want. I personally prefer the darker method, but it also depends on what kind of project I'm doing as well. So next, I thought I would pull out my Pink and Main Concave Rectangle dies, and I just thought these would be great to make a background panel with. Now these are available at the time of this recording on the Hollow Tree Hobbies website, so if you want to have a look at those, they should be up still. And what I've done here is I've cut a 4¼ by 5½ panel out of gold, and this fits the largest concave rectangle die perfectly. And I've gone ahead and cut them out twice, so I've done one out of my ink blended panel, and then the second one is out of black cardstock. And you'll have to excuse me, I am fighting a little bit with this glue bottle because silly me accidentally left the cap off, so it got a little bit of chunkiness in it. I think it's a little hard to work with. Later on in the card, I noticed that I had to pause what I was doing to unclog it, which happens when you don't put your toys away properly. So next time I'll try to remember to put the cap on. Anyway, so I'm just mashing everybody down here and making sure that I don't have any glue seeping out on that gold foiled cardstock, adding a little bit more glue to the top of that black, and then I'm going to go in with some tape runner, and then again we're going to go in with some more glue just to make sure that I have the edges nice and secure, and I want to make sure that those points are nicely glued down because they will be askew as well from the black cardstock, and I just want to make sure that there isn't any lifting. So once I'm happy with that, go ahead and give that a mash down. And then next we are going to pull out what I've already cut out of the Giant Outline Merci die. Now I thought this was great when Lawn Fawn came out with it, and I was thrilled to find that Kimberly had it in her shop, and I was able to pick this up, and this is great because I do make a lot of English cards, but it's always nice to have like a French sentiment as well, because there are some French speakers in my area who, do enjoy finding a French card, which where I'm at in Canada isn't too often. So I'm just fiddling here with the cardstock. This foil cardstock was a little bit thicker for me to cut through, and I wanted to make sure that I wasn't ripping anything as I was pulling out those little letters. I've set aside the E and the R because I'm going to use those kind of as a template as to where I'm going to stick the little inner bits, so you'll see that in a minute. And once I've had the adequate amount of glue that I'm going to need to make sure that this sticks down, we are going to take this and layer it on top of the solid panel that it cuts. So you get two dies. So you get one that cuts a solid panel, and then you get a second one that cuts out the letters. So here I'm just fitting that E back in, and we're going to take that little inside of the E and add a little bit of glue, and then we'll grab our tweezers and we will put that right in there, and then very carefully I'm going to pop out that letter E. And the cool thing about this is that you can save those letters for something else, like another project, or if you have multiple colors, you can cut them out and drop those into the centers. Now, I couldn't quite decide which one I wanted to use, so I ended up doing this twice, and you'll see here in a minute. And it was just a comparison to see which one I wanted. Did I want the gold lettering or did I want the black lettering? Which one would you have picked? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm curious as to what you would think. But what I thought was I would go with the gold lettering in the black background. I don't know, I just thought this one would look a lot more nicer with what I was going on, but you know, the black one would look good too. But I settled on this one. It was a hard toss up for me to figure out which one I wanted, but in the end I chose this one. So I'm just going to use my grid mat here and line everybody up and give that a good mash down. And then we're going to work on card number 2. So card number 2, we are going to be following the same method. So again, I've cut out 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 in the gold cardstock. We've cut out the black panel out of the largest concave rectangle die by Pink and Main. Added some tape runner here, and we are going to scribble on Hollow Tree Hobbies because I figured out how to get my glue unclogged. It was just a lot of unclogging. And then we're going to go ahead and give that a good mash down once we have that lined up in our panel. And then once we've done that, we'll go ahead and pull out that second ink blended background that we did in a different direction. So again, we're adding a little bit of tape runner. We are going to write Happy New Year in glue because it is 2025 and I am so glad the year has started. And then we'll go ahead and add some glue around the panel here at the very edges so we get our corners stuck down nice and tidy. And then we'll go ahead and offset that to the black and give that a good mash down. And then once we've got that off camera, I've gone ahead and I've taken Henry's ABCs, spelled out the word thanks, and cut it out again in the gold and the black. And then I put the black kind of offset behind the gold so you get that shadow effect. And then I ended up using my grid mat to line up all of my letters how I wanted them. And then I took a slice of washi tape to hold them all together, added some glue, and then I'm going to use my grid mat here to kind of line up where I want them. You'll have to excuse my sweater. It was a little chilly at my place while I was making these cards. So once we've got that all patted down, very carefully I am going to hold these guys down and very gently pull that tape up, and then we have our finished panel. So last but not least, these guys needed some card bases. So I've got a stack of card bases next to me, and I decided to do one that opened on the side and then one that opened on the top. So we've gone ahead and added a little bit of our tape runner to our card base, and we're going to go around our edges, making sure that there's glue on there. Nothing will come up. Now, it doesn't matter in my mind whether or not you put the glue on and the sticky bits on the card panel or if you put it on the back of the decorative panel that you're using. So here, no, I guess I did put it on the panel. So I'm just going to line everything up, give that a good mash down, and then we'll go ahead and do the same thing for our other card. So our other card is a side folding. This is the one that I put the glue and the sticky bits on the back. And we'll go ahead and add some glue to our card panel. Again, I guess it doesn't really matter what order you go in. Maybe there's a science to it. I'm not 100% sure. It's whatever your little heart desires, and that's what I was going with. So once I've gotten the adequate amount of lines and glue on that, we will go ahead and line that up. Now I like to take my card base and my card panel and line everybody up and then give that a good mash down, and it usually works every time for me. And here you have my finished projects. Let me know in the comments which one you liked better. Have you checked out Hollow Tree Hobbies website or their social media? Have you yet subscribed to this channel or maybe liked this video? It'd be great if you did, and we would really appreciate it. Wishing everyone a happy 2025 with health, wealth, and tons of happy crafting. And as always, thanks for hanging out with me today. Take care.